think I will ask God why for the rest of my life, and never will I come to understand it. Even if God himself came in front of me and told me the reason, I don't think I would accept it. Some loves are too hard to bear, and with great love comes great pain, and with great loss comes the greatest pain of all. If love could have saved you, you would have lived forever.
Hello, guys. Welcome back. Episode 4. This has been a doozy, okay? Because, y'all, I recorded this episode last week or week and a half ago. I was sitting there on my computer, and you know how you have like your mouse pad on the laptop, but then you also have like a Bluetooth mouse that you can have to like connect to not use like the mouse pad on the laptop. Well, I was too lazy to get up and find my mouse that I was using while I was editing, and I was using the pad and using my finger. Somehow I double tapped and deleted my whole episode that I had to drop for you a couple days ago. So forgive me for this being super late. Also forgive me for it being late because we had a snowpocalypse last weekend. Right now, as I'm sitting here recording, we have another snowpocalypse. I also went and toured a college with my son. We toured UNCC, which is a beautiful campus. Now I feel 10 times better about him going off to college. It was so clean, put together. It had a police station on campus. You can take the light rail anywhere. All the cafeterias pretty much like had a Chick-fil-A and a Starbucks in it. So he has like no excuse of why he's not sufficient with food. Well, he shouldn't be eating all that anyway, because baby, right? Spending money on tuition, you ain't gonna be having all that extra money. But anyways, I really loved UNCC. We tour NC-A&T soon. And then I think we still have Clemson and Carolina coming up. Y'all pray for me as we navigate which school we're going to pick. If you don't know, he's going into education. He wants to be a biology teacher for high school and eventually coach basketball for high school. For a inner city school, minority based school. He wants to make a difference and be a role model for kids. And I'm very proud of him, but you know, I'm just been praying about like where he needs to go, what's going to be the right decision financially for me, him, his future, things like that. So that was a doozy, you know, doing our first college tour. I told y'all about my dryer. That was a lot. There was a lot of reasons of why it was so late for me to record this. And then once I did, then I deleted it. So my dryer went out. Remember, I decided to get on YouTube, try to be handy manny, do it all myself. I accidentally got a different wire jammed into the little circuit board or little thing, whatever it's called. And I tried to put that wire into there. It got stuck when really that was the female end. It was supposed to go on something else and I couldn't get it out. And then they tried to take me to a part of a store with the wires and showed me how to cut and crimp it with this little crimper wrench looking thing. And y'all, it was just too much. So thankfully I did end up getting a new dryer. Shout out to my dad. And also one of my friends who helped pay for like all the delivery and setup and things like that. They ended up splitting the cost of my dryer. And I'm just so grateful. Thank you guys. And what else happened? Tell me lies. That's crazy. Bree, do y'all think her mom is going to come to the art show? I just want to know, like, why do I feel like Bree's mom somehow has a connection to her childhood friend that Lucy's kind of finagling with? Like, I don't know if the writers would be like that sick, but I kind of saw a conspiracy theory on TikTok where it was like, could her mom had like finagled with someone underage and had her? I mean, I know that's kind of weird. Maybe not. Maybe I'm like so far off in the deep end, but her mom looks so young. And obviously, like we said, she was like 14 when she had her. Wait, then he wouldn't even been born. Sorry, blind moment. Wait, could that? No, that couldn't have happened. I don't know. maybe that couldn't have happened. Either way, I just want to know who Bree's dad is. That's just kind of where I'm at. If you watch Love After Lockup, Monique back with that inmate, like what the heck is going on with that? And then the girl that works in the brothel or whatever in Las Vegas where it's legal. I just can't even believe like they had the workers on the TV. I know it's legal, but that's crazy how that works. Like I've never seen that before in real life. And then 90 Day Fiance. Can we talk about the white woman that's over there in Africa um with the younger guy, and she actually was like a lesbian for her whole life, and she hadn't been with a man in like 20 something years, and then she goes over there and lies to the elders and says she's only hooked up with a woman once and she was in fact married to a woman. Like that was crazy. And then the fact that TLC even put on the TV when she said, "Oh yeah, I've never been stretched in 20 years and I stretched perfectly for you." I was like, "No, they did not." Like, who are the editors? I was gagging. Like that was disgusting and so cringe. I just Oh my God, I can't believe it. And then the girl, where they've been together for like 7 years, I ended up on a page that said they actually did meet before and TLC didn't do the background check. And he's over there and he's already been met her family, but then she also was lying, saying that her family was taking all of her money from him when they actually own like a whole resort and a whole nice house. That was crazy. So, anyways, if you watch 90 Day Fiance, please reach out to me. Let's talk about it. I have a friend named Jennifer. We went to high school together. We like send each other stuff. Like, we don't talk about anything else in life. We don't even text each other. But we like just send each other 90 day memes all the time. Sarper is coming to Greenville to do a comedy show. Just so you know, if you didn't know who Sarper and Shekinah was from the last season, but he's coming to Greenville to do a comedy show. Anyways, shout out to Jennifer. You feed my addiction. So can't wait to talk to you about this tomorrow. Okay, so I think I've caught you up on life. Yeah. So on the last episode, episode 3, we left off on I had just birthed Jaden. So everyone, I got so many messages about y'all still crying. Stop crying. We're okay. Like, guys, just like it's okay. But I appreciate y'all and that y'all are like so loving for my kid. And he's okay. Like he's about to be 18 in July. He's doing great. He's thriving. And that broken family really did help him. But let's talk about before we got there. So we're gonna go back 17 years. I had him. I told y'all. Obviously, my dad started watching Dr. Phil, the hair thing when I was birthing him. After I had him, the nurse was just kind of looking at me, waiting on me to change a diaper. I never changed a diaper before. I was looking at her like, "Are you not going to do this? Because am I supposed to do this?" Yeah, that was an experience. So I took the baby home. We're thriving with the baby. It is like July 19th, July 20th. It's 3 or 4 days before my birthday, my 17th birthday. So he was the greatest birthday present. And I'm just, at home with his baby by myself. I don't really know what to do, but it's okay. We figured it out. His dad was still in jail after he was born. Of course, he wasn't at the birth. It was just me, my dad. And we were, just rocking it out. Um, let's see. I started senior year a couple weeks later. My dad did not let me miss any time. I had no maternity leave. So when I started senior year, if y'all remember seeing me, just know my boobs were leaking. They were sore. I was probably smelling like cabbage because my dad kept telling me to put cabbage leaves in or not my dad, my aunts kept telling me to put cabbage leaves in my bra. So I was walking around with like soggy, wet cabbage leaves to soak up my milk because I did not breastfeed. They didn't really push breastfeeding back then. If y'all had a baby in like 2008, 2009, you were a young mom, they didn't really push it. It was more like WIC and just like feeding formula, which ended up like, thankfully, it was fine because I don't think that my dad would have really touched my breast milk, like if we're being honest. And I just wanted to keep Jaden alive. Thanks to my dad, when it was time to go back to school, he still worked second shift, like I told y'all before, and he ended up keeping Jaden Like, he would get home from second shift at 11, go to sleep, wake up at 6, take me to school, and then come back home with Jaden. Or either I would ride the bus or ride with a friend. I can't remember what I was doing, but he would come back and just stay with Jaden until I got out of school. And he was great because I would get out of school, literally, I had early dismissal as a senior, and I would get out of school, come home, and then my dad would go to work and work from like 3 to 11. So he never really had a break through the week. He helped take care of Jaden until I was able to get approved for ABC vouchers. So if you heard me say that, ABC vouchers, I was on government assistance. So those people who are on Facebook, who also are listening to this podcast, who like to diss government assistance and talk about how people need to go work and pay for their own stuff, you're talking to the choir, because I did it. Okay, just want to put that out there. I needed the help. I was not going to graduate high school. The people who talk to me all the time and chit chat in my inbox and comment on my status, but yet you're bashing moms who get government help. It was me. It was I. I got government help. Thanks. And the Medicaid. Thanks. So just watch what you say on social media. You never know who you're talking about or talking to. I just want to put that out there. But anyway, so my kids started going to daycare, and that was a hard adjustment too, of course, sending him to daycare. But either way, it took the load off my dad. Every day when I got home from school, I would get Jaden, let dad go to work. I would bathe Jaden, spend time with him, feed him, and then I would jump right into my schoolwork. And he was still waking up all night. So I would wake up all night with him, put him in the bouncer in the morning when it woke up for school to get ready, whether he was crying or not, while I was trying to take a shower, do my hair. It was brutal. So if you knew me senior year and I was cranky and ill, just know I was postpartum. My dad really, he helped me with Jay while I was at school, but those night shifts, like, they were on me. And I'm appreciative that he, made me take care of my kid, because it really made me the mom that I am. Like, there was no, hey, I'm going to help you. You don't have to wake up in the middle of the night because you have school. Like, no, I was up all night long, went to senior year, bleeding, tits leaking, and a lot of times I was falling asleep in class, if we're being honest. Miss Kotzer, she was my math teacher my senior year when I went back, and she was so amazing for me. She knew I had a baby. She knew that he was just, a couple weeks, couple months old, and she would always just be so nice. She was my last class of the day. So I would always start dozing off around then, because obviously, like, I'm starting to wind down. I wasn't drinking coffee at this point. I wasn't drinking like energy drinks. It was just me and God that was keeping me up during my senior year. And she would just walk by my desk when she saw me dozing off and just give me a tap on my shoulder or wake me up. And that class, I really did start to fall behind. It was, I think, if I can remember correctly, I'm pretty sure Miss Kotzer taught like statistics or something, where it wasn't like algebra. It was a different type of math that you took your senior year that I just felt like wasn't necessary, but obviously I had to have it to graduate. And she was just so kind. She let me do so much extra credit, because I'll be honest, I was not passing. That was the one class that just like whooped my butt. And she let me do so much extra credit. She let me stay behind, wipe down the desk at the end of the year, pick gum off the desk, wipe down the walls, like get all the markings off the desk, help her file paperwork, prepare for the next year, just to help me graduate. And, she would stay after all the time. And if y'all know her, or if she's still teaching, y'all please tell her that Ashley from year 2009 is so appreciative of her, because she's the reason I graduated high school and I am who I am with my baby. So hugs to you, Miss Kotzer. I love you. Best teacher ever. So we got through my senior year, and Jaden is growing up, and somewhere around like the end of my senior year, that summer, I am just hanging out. I'm, single. Well, before that, before the end of my senior year, Jaden's dad had got out of jail. This is when I can't remember if on the last episode I told y'all, but he had got out of jail, and I tried one time to, maybe one or two times, to go down to Georgia with Jaden to see, like, like try to make a connection with them. And so I took Jay down there. He held him for a couple minutes and said that his friends had like a kickback or something that he had to go to. And it was like my last time where I was like, okay, I'm not making any more effort to bring Jay down here anymore. All he really was worried about was if I was going to come back to Georgia, not him seeing Jaden in Georgia or me making the 2-hour trip. Like, it's literally, guys, like 2 hours. That's it. That's how far he was away from his kid. And he was like, if you're not coming back, then I basically don't want to be around, because I only want to be in Jane's life if we're going to be a family. So obviously the guilt was put back on me, but I knew, hey, like, we're thriving up here in South Carolina, and, I'm not coming back. And obviously if you just get up and leave my kid to go to a kickback, then you don't really care about our kid anyway. So since Jaden was like a couple months old, his dad, Jorge, never saw him ever again until later, which I'll get to that one day, when he was like 7 years old. And we were sitting at Pizza Hut in Georgia eating with my aunt, and his family walks in. And that was kind of crazy, because that was the first time that, Jay had met his dad, and it was not an intentional meeting. That's honestly, Jay is 18, about to be 18 in July, and that's the last time he's ever seen his dad, was from the Pizza Hut visit when he was 7. And it's okay. We have dealt with it. We've lived without him. And I think that that's my biggest thing of whenever, like, I'm listening to women on Facebook, or I'm seeing y'all's posts and things like that. I think it's okay for y'all to, of course, speak how you feel about your child's fathers. Do whatever you need to do. But sometimes, I know this is going to hurt, and you might cut the podcast off after I say this, but I'm going to hold your hand. At the end of the day, we chose technically those men to be our kids' fathers. We were sleeping with them. We were not using protection. And just like I tell my son now, if he decides to have sex, any girl that you sleep with, whenever it's time, whenever you look at her, before you have sex with her, if you cannot imagine her being the mother of your child for the rest of your life, you should not have sex with her. Because if we're being honest, that's what sex is. It's picking a possible partner to be the father of your kid or the mother of your kid. So all this Facebook bashing and all this about like my baby daddy this, my baby daddy that, I'm telling y'all right now, it's not going to change anything. You can bash them all you want to. That's not going to make them be a better dad. It's not going to make them pay child support. It's not going to make them, oh, she made a Facebook status about me. Super dad to the rescue. Like, guys, I love y'all. I'm always going to support single moms, single women, always. Posting about them on Facebook is not going to change anything. If those men do not want to be fathers, whether you're in the picture, you're not in the picture, whether you're single, whether y'all are together, it should not matter if y'all are together and as a couple. If he is a dad, a real father, that does not matter. Nothing will stop a man from being in this kid's life. Whether it's you, 2 hours, nothing. Nothing. And maybe I say that because I was raised by my dad. And, my dad, when he was, what do we say, 22 years old, he was shot at Applebee's in Westgate. He's paralyzed from the waist down in a wheelchair since then. And he still took care of me. Did we have our issues? Yes, of course. I've been vulnerable and open about those, but he still took care of me. There was no wheelchair, not him being paralyzed, not him not even being able to walk. My mom was not around, and he still made a point to be there. He still went to work. He did not collect a disability check. He went to work and he still had the same job. But there's just nothing that's going to stop a man from being a father if he really wants to be a father. So stop with the Facebook post, guys. Y'all, it sucks. It's hard. It's going to fall back on us. But your Facebook post, your Twitter post, your Instagram post, it's not going to matter. Yes, let's kiki kaka. Like, it's okay to make a joke. I'm always going to do a little slight joke. But all this like deep, long posts about Ray Ray, well, I don't even know who Ray Ray is, but Ray Ray is not, he's not no good daddy. He just sits up and like with the next girl, with the next blah, blah. Okay, for what? For what? I mean, I'll wait. What has it changed? I mean, did he come back? Did it make him be a better dad? Did it make him and the girl break up? No. And honestly, you spewing hate on Facebook is just going to give them fuel to keep resenting you. And then honestly, if they're with a girl and you keep bashing him and the girl, what's it going to do? Push them closer together. Because they're not going to want you to be proved to be right. So, mom to mom, friend to friend, just stop. Let them dig their own grave. What I've learned is that any person that has not done right by children, especially innocent kids, stepkids, real kids, any person that truly does not do right by their kids is suffering. And it might look like on Facebook or their life that they are living the best life. They're not. I promise you. Facebook and Instagram is just a show of people's coolest moments, their proudest moments. It's not showing what they think at night. It's not showing how lonely they are. It's not showing their bank accounts. I'm not saying that, they have to be broke. There's rich people. We know rich people who are still depressed and sad, even famous people. But I tell you one thing, Jorge, I might not get child support, but baby, Jorge is in the trenches. Anything positive in his life. He's got probably 20 other kids. That's probably an exaggeration. I'm sorry. Let me not. Maybe 10, 11. I think he's got another one on the way. What does he have going for himself? My mom. She didn't do right by her kid. I think she's not saying that she can't work in a plant, but I mean, she's 50 something and she lives in the basement of my great aunt's house. Nothing for herself. Has never bought a house. She's not thriving. Like she's stunted. Even her mind is stunted at like an 18-year-old. And one day we'll talk about like one of our last conversations we've had. I haven't really talked to her. The people who abused me, not doing so well. And not to say like I chew on enough plastic Capri Sun straws to where I don't know what I'll die of. Like there's no telling what's coming my way. But I do know that I have lived a intentionally good life and I've not always been perfect, but I definitely am intentional with trying to treat people better. Or even if I did treat someone bad, I've always tried to do better the next time or reevaluate, like, dang, like I could have treated her better, or recognize like the girl that my mom and I played tag with. At the end of the day, I mean, she was just on a date. She didn't expect to go through that. Like I can honestly own up to that and be like, dang, like that sucks for her. And I think the same with kids. They're going to get what's coming to them. Like we're about to get started on the white boy in my Rasta when Avery's dad. And I'll be honest. I mean, he might be better now, but he was not doing right by his kids. He was every other weekend dad and he paid child support. But other than that, he didn't talk to the kids. He brought 20, 30 different women around them in like the last 13 years, 15 years. And I mean, maybe now he's doing better, but I mean, everything, what goes around comes around. And I need y'all to know the Facebook status ain't gonna make it come around. So anyways, let me get off my high horse. or not my high horse. What do you call that thing? The soapbox. Let me get off my soapbox. I'm just letting y'all know, love y'all. Stop bashing boyfriends, baby daddies, girls, whatever. And maybe because I've been there, done that. And that's what we're going to get into, now. But I'm just saying, like, in our big girl ages, like, we're going to stop. Let's stop. Let's hold hands. If you're on YouTube, I'm holding your hand right now. You got this. You're a strong, independent woman. Take care of them babies. Stop bashing on Facebook. Anyways, we got through my senior year. We're at the end. I didn't really do anything senior year. I didn't go to any parties. Obviously, I was taking care of a newborn. I went to prom. That was fun. We actually had a whole limo, me and a bunch of people, and we swag surfed into prom. I don't know if y'all remember that. If you're listening, y'all remember when swag surf was popular, and we made the limo driver turn it up so loud. It's like a core memory in my head. And we all just swag surf walking into Bee Springs prom. Like, yeet, yeet. That was so fun. And then after prom, of course, there was graduation. My baby was in the audience. He got to watch me walk across stage. He was not a year old yet, obviously. But what's sad is that I'm over here trying to think about, like his graduation. I wanted to like get a slideshow put together for his graduation party and like maybe a projector. And I don't have one picture of my kid and me on my graduation day. Nobody took a picture. So if you or anybody listening has a picture of me at graduation with my son in my cap and gown, somebody please forward that to me because I don't have one. Okay, so we graduate high school. We are like, oh, what is next? What are we gonna do next? So I ended up choosing hair school. Well, I wasn't going to start hair school at Regency until a couple months later. You sign up, but they only do like new class enrollments. I think it was like every 2 or 3 months. I don't remember, but either way, I was waiting on our first like wave of going in. So while I'm waiting and I have nothing to do, I get a text to go out bowling with a group of people. And I was like, sure, what am I doing? I'm not doing anything, so let me go. It was during the day, so Jay was at daycare, and I was like, okay, let's go have fun. So I pull up at this bowling alley, and there's a group of about 4 of us, and one of them is a guy that I've always known, and his friend. We're gonna call his friend, what will we name Avery's dad? Y'all know I actually have to co-parent with him, so I gotta tread lightly. Um, um, what are we going to name him? I feel the name that's in my head is like too close to like his actual name, so like I can't. Um, let's call him Tom. Okay, so Tom, I feel like that just fits like, yeah, I don't know, like Tom. So Tom is there and he is with his other friend. And I've never met Tom before. This is the first time. And I've always kind of known that Tom's friend liked me, but nothing ever like happened or anything. Like it was always like one of those things where we're cool, but I'm like, I know like it's a no, but we're still cool. Like I'll still go bowling with a group of people. So while the friend keeps up and going bowling, I can tell like he's trying to talk to me more. And Tom and I are sitting beside each other's bowling alley while the friend gets up and bowls, and we end up like hitting it off. We are just yapping. We are like, wow, like we're very similar. He had, in fact, just had a baby not too long ago, and that should have been my red flag. But to me, I guess I was just still like maybe postpartum, dumb, obviously, like, we know where I was coming from. So maybe my brain just was not there. But he had talked to me about how he had had a baby in April, and at this point we are in the summer, after yeah, right after graduation. And so we just started like chit chatting, and it's nothing, like nothing's coming from it yet. And at the end of this outing, he's like, well, I know technically my friend invited you because he wanted to see how it was in person, but I actually kind of liked you would you be open to talking to me or dating me? And I knew his friend had no chance with me. And of course, I liked you, you know. He was a white guy, which was a little different from, you know, what I was used to, because the only other really white guy that I ever even had texted or been in contact with basically told me straight up, me being biracial, that his parents would have never ever allowed it. And, you know, it's actually crazy to think that in 2008, 2009, that white guys had crushes on me. And I know other black women that I went to school with, and it had to be a hush hush thing because they were ashamed of it, which is so crazy that like that, like people are like, oh, racism isn't real. Racism isn't real. Okay, well, that was just 15 years ago. 16 years ago, right? 16 years ago? Well, yeah, well, maybe longer because obviously my son's 17. But y'all, that was just then where they were like, well, the fact that you're half black, I just don't think my parents would be okay with me talking to someone that's half black. That's crazy. And what's even funnier is that now those same guys now are like still like trying to talk to me. And I'm like, oh, it's now okay. Oh, air in my DMs now. No, like goodbye. Anyways, so this guy was white, and what did I say his name was? Tom. Tom is white, and you know, I thought he was cute. He had a terrible, terrible underbite, but at the time I was like, okay, it's gonna get fixed. But he seemed to be put together. He seemed, the way he talked about his son, he seemed to be that he was an active father, and honestly, he came from a great family. So for me, going from a drug dealer, gangbanger, you know, living in the trap in Georgia, to this guy that has a great family, a great background. In fact, he went to private school most of his life. He did end up dropping out, but he joined the military and he's already a dad. That was attractive to me. Like, if we're going to be honest, I was like, wow, you know, um, the situation with his child was that his child was born in late April. But from what he had told me was that basically the relationship was like they kind of knew each other and it was a fling, and then it ended up like after a couple weeks, like 6 to 8 weeks, that she ended up pregnant. And that was the story that was given to me, that he was like, okay, but you know, because how conservative his parents were, he felt like he had to work it out, try to stick it out, try to get married. Like, he felt like the pressure was on him to do the right thing and try to work it out. That's what I was told. But now, obviously, later on, being older, being able to look back at it, I can kind of see where I don't really know if that's true, especially now that I actually had the experience of being with him too. So we ended up talking, and it actually was amazing. His family was great from the time I came around. They just welcomed me with open arms. Um, I had Jaden. He had a son's who's his son's name rhymed with Jaden. I don't really want to mention him, obviously, because you know, me and his mom are cool, and that's her child, so I would never want to, you know, cross the line. But they were only like not even a year apart, really. So it was kind of cool how we both had these sons, and they had like similar names, and we just kind of built like a little mini family together. So while we're doing this and like getting to know each other and being with each other all the time, his child's mom, which understandably now, which love you, girl, sister, baby mamas for life. Um, at that time, she was pissed, rightfully so. She was pissed because here I am, I'm coming along in his life. They just had a baby end of April. He was gone to basic. So she gave birth to this baby by herself. And I think she had like some medical issues too. And it was a very traumatic birth for her. And then here I come along where I only know, of course, one side of the story, where he's like, oh, it was just a hookup, but now I'm just to stay around because of my son, which, you know, obviously now I know it was a little bit different. But she was pissed. Like, really? Like, I just birthed this baby. I was by myself while you were at basic. You just come back and still living your best life. And I'm here with this baby and you just move on and with this other girl and her kid. And I just had yours. Rightfully so. She had some crash out moments. Y'all thought my crash out was bad. I think we might be neck and neck. She might be a little bit over my crash out, which I don't know. I really don't know. But let's just say while me and him are together, there was constant flattening of tires, which, could be a figment of my imagination, but there was windows bashed in with bricks. And she's like a little girl. I'm like, dang, how you throw that brick that hard? But like we got windows bashed in, we got tires slashed multiple times. Um, it was just definitely just petty arguing back and forth, like petty childishness. Um, at the time, because let's be honest, we're still kids. Like we had just graduated high school. Or I had just graduated high school. So I think we're still like 18, like 17, 18, 19. I mean, the first couple years was just brutal. Like it was just constant back and forth. Like we even like fought each other. We were just ghetto. It was crazy. At a daycare, for God's sake, So, but like I said, me and her actually, like, we have moved past it all. We have squashed it. We are great. Like I know at the end of the day that it's no hard feelings toward each other. I think we just were put in a situation where I was getting one side and maybe thought I was, moving with ill intentions, but I really wasn't. And I think that over time we were able to see. Um, so, anyways, so we are together, we kind of dealing with baby mama drama. I don't have baby daddy drama because my baby daddy's not around at all. So, we are still thriving. It gets to a point where me and her wasn't cool at the time, but I think that she started to go back to school. She picked up a second job to work nights. She was at school during the day, and she actually reached out for help to Tom and was like, "Hey, can you please like step up? Can you help?" Because her mom was trying to help her while she was trying to further her education, things like that. And of course, like I love the baby, I of course don't want to mention his name, but he's grown now almost. Him and Jay are still very close in age. And of course he can hang out. Of course he can come over. Of course he's your kid. Of course, like bring him on. And so we were actually able to get along enough to where he was with us a good bit while she was trying to, get her degrees. And now I think like she's got a master's. Like, go girl, high five to you. Like you're rocking this out. But he ended up being with us a good bit while she was doing that. There wasn't, that much drama. I think like she actually moved on, started dating someone, and things really calmed down. Like life was great. Tom is very spur of the moment type of person. There were times where we would just be laying in bed and wake up one morning and he'd be like, "Hey, want to go to New Jersey today?" And I'd be like, "Right now?" He'd be like, "Yeah." And we would just pack a bag and go to New Jersey. Like, I mean, we would just go anywhere. Like we were just so sporadic. And I think that that's like what really connected us. And we were just able to really get along. People would always tell us that we acted like best friends more than a couple because we just always had a good time together. But because of the way that our relationship was and how like we were great, um, and how sporadic he was. One day, we were just sitting at the Beacon. If y'all know the Beacon, call it chili cheese aplenty. Me, and he was just sitting there, and he was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hey," and he said, "I have an idea," and I was like, "Okay, what's your idea?" Well, he said, "Let's go run off and get married. Just let's go do it, just for shits and giggles. Let's go run off and get married for shits and giggles." Okay, let's do it. Like so, um like obviously I look back at that and I'm like, what? Because I have to explain that now as an adult, but it was just a stupid 18-year-old kid. So, anyways, we go to the courthouse and we go get married. Like I can't remember if that's when they let us to like same day marriage. I'm I feel like that was before they changed the law where it's like 24 hours later, you've got to go back and get married. I'm pretty sure that we like called a friend to be a witness. They met us up there right then and like we just like got married. Like left the beacon, bust down a chili cheese aplenty, had some fries, and ran off and got married. I kid you not. Did I tell my father? No. So again, here goes Fred. Fred's my dad's name, if y'all didn't know. Here goes Fred with yet another surprise. At this point, I had not moved out of my dad's house. So I'm, staying a lot at Tom's parents' house. Like we haven't gotten a place yet or anything. And I'm just over there all the time. Well, we go and get married, and I feel like this is my out. This is my way I can move back out my dad's house because obviously I hadn't lived with my dad for a long time until I came back pregnant, and I absolutely hated it. But like I just felt like I had no space to myself. I didn't have the freedom that I wanted. I was just ready to go. So after we got married, I'm just like, okay, like when do I tell my dad? Like, how do I tell my dad? I'm just like planning on how to move out. Well, Tom is actually out here signing a lease on a townhome, like our first place together. And I haven't even told my dad that like we got married, but his parents know we got married, but my dad doesn't know. And then y'all, I'm an idiot. Well, we already determined the fact that I'm an idiot. But how about the marriage license comes in the mail to my daddy's house? Like, what was I? Why would I think to put that address down? I mean, can y'all? I'm guessing like my brain was just fried from pregnancy, postpartum. I don't freaking know. But anyway, so my dad gets this mail from the courthouse and he opens it and he goes, So you weren't going to tell me you got married? And I just feel crazy because y'all, like within 2 years, my dad has found out I was pregnant and I wasn't gonna tell him, and he didn't even know till like way later. And then I didn't tell him I got married. So like I'm sure my dad was just done with me. I'm sure he was like, this woo, like what a doozy of a daughter, especially the first one. But I set my siblings up for success because there was absolutely nothing that my siblings could do that would ever top what I've done. Unless they ended up like on crack. Like that would have been a problem. I probably would have like beat both their butts. But they had the best life because after I put my dad through the ringer, there's nothing he was scared of. Um so anyway, so yes, we get married, and at that point, my dad's like, "Okay, you're 18. You just went and ran off and got married. Fine, like whatever. Move out." Uh, we move out. We get a townhome. We're staying at the townhome. Life is great. Like we've been together for this long now. We actually continue to stay together years and years. Like I'm in hair school. He's working for his dad's big catering company because his dad owns a huge company around here. And that was like the deal that he was just going to work for his dad's catering company. And eventually, whenever his dad went to retire, he was going to take over that catering company. Like that was the deal from the beginning. So great, everything's fine. Well, as we're going deeper into our relationship, like we moved to an apartment or we changed from the townhome to an apartment, he's like, okay, well, I think I want to be a tattooer. Okay, you want to be a tattooer? Well, who am I but to be a supportive girlfriend, right? We have the boys and they're getting older, and he's like, yeah, like I just think I really want to. And I said, okay, well, go ahead and do it. So every day he would work for his dad's catering company throughout the day. It's like 3 o'clock. And then he would go to the tattoo shop and apprentice from like 3 to 11. So there was a time during our relationship where I didn't really see him a lot, until he got home late at night. And of course, like there would be times where like I had both the boys and things like that, but I was just trying to be supportive. And he actually, out of nowhere, blew up in the tattoo world. I mean, it went from him washing dishes making food, catering lunches with his dad to blowing up in the tattoo world. And it happened within like a 6 to 9 month period. And within that time, I had gotten pregnant with our daughter. And we actually had purchased a house in Inman. So we left the apartment that we were at with the boys. We bought this house in Inman and we moved in a couple months before our daughter was born. Like we painted, we nested, all these different things. He's tattooing right down the road. Life is just great. Like this is the first time where I feel stable enough. I can breathe. Obviously, y'all know the trauma that I had been through before. And, he was like my best friend. So I felt like I trusted him and the life that he was building for us with tattooing. Okay. So before I get into what happens next, I need y'all to understand that he's still a tattooer now, and he's in the tattoo world, and he still does great. He does traditional style, and I think if y'all like traditional tattoos, y'all should go get tattooed by him. Like we're cool. Like life is what it is. Go get tattooed, pay him because he pays my child support. So whoop whoop, like he tattoos out of Charlotte and Asheville and Powdersville, I think, like, or something like that. He tattoos out of like 3 separate shops. Anyways, and I think he does other traveling like guest spots too. But yeah, so let's also remember our ages. So at this point, we are 20. Yeah, so it's been about 3 years. Yeah, so at this point, yeah, we're about 20 years old because I'm pregnant with my daughter. About to be 21, or he's 21, I'm about to be 21. So we're still very young. Like, just I want to lay that foundation. He's always been in Inman, South Carolina. He went to basic, but other than that, he's pretty much just been here. Like, he has no life experience, and neither do I. So we have our daughter. It's beautiful. He gets to experience her birth. That was like obviously he missed his son's birth, and I didn't have Jorge at Jaden's birth. So for us, it was very special to be able to go through that together, and actually be together in a healthy relationship. So anyways, we've got the 3 kids. His child's mom is like progressing in school. I think like at this point she's in her bachelor's degree, blah blah. Like we're all co-parenting, like everything is fine. Well, he blew up, like I said, and he started guest spotting at different places. And of course, in the tattoo industry, there are tattoo groupies. And, of course, they throw themselves at tattooers. They want free tattoos, things like that. Well, at this point, Tom is like finding himself. He doesn't even know like really how to handle that, but he knows he's got like 3 kids at home and he's still young, and he's like, wow, like here I am traveling, but then I've got like basically like a wife and kids at home. Like, what am I doing with myself? Which is fine, whatever. But I expected him to be faithful because that was obviously like a non-negotiable for me. He knew like what I had been through with Jaden's dad, my mom, and I guess I just expected like better of him, especially since the family we created, and we literally have 3 kids under the age of 5. There was a time where I would always stay at my dad's house when he was traveling for a while because it would just make me nervous to stay at home with my daughter and my son by myself. So he went off to California to like San Diego for a tattoo convention, and I was at my dad's house. Well, he was on the way back, and I was just going to go home the next day because he had a late arrival with the airport, whatever. And so as I'm at my dad's house, obviously our daughter, she's a year and some change at this time. Like I would say a year, yeah, about maybe like a year and a half. And she uh wakes up crying, and I always, I'm putting her back to sleep, but I'm on my phone. Every time he would travel somewhere, I would always check his tag photos to see like what work that he's done, because y'all gotta think like I was trying to be supportive. He was, getting better and better, and I like love seeing him progress, just basically him improve overall as a tattoo artist. I look and I saw, and then I went on his tag photos page on his Instagram. This one Instagram was like kind of new. There was this girl on there, And it was not, there was no tattoo. Let's just say that. So I am still a little postpartum. And I'm tweaking a little bit. Like the Ashley from the movie theater is definitely like, wondering like, who is this bitch? And as I'm looking, it's like this black-headed girl, and I remember her name was Brittany. And I'm looking at the post, and the caption says, "Had the best time with you. I can't wait for Tom to show me the dirty South." Bitch, what do you mean, Tom show you the dirty South? Do you come to the dirty South? Like that's what was going through my head. Well, little did I know, my friends had already seen stuff, so I'm also checking my text messages. They've already commented on the bitch's pictures. Like they are on it. They're like, "Oh, what do you mean? Like what is like, going crazy." Well, I'm texting Tom's phone. Tom is obviously asleep because he flew from Cali back here. It's super late. And so I woke up my sister and I said, "Hey, I'm going to go to my house. If I don't come back, I need you to take my kids to daycare in the morning if I'm in jail." Of course, my sister is like, "Wait, what's going on? What's happening?" And I'm like, "No, I'll be back." So I leave. And ironically, I don't have the key to my house because something happened to where we had to get something fixed. And so I gave my key to his dad's friend who was a handyman. And I was like, "Here, I'll just get it back. He'll be home tomorrow. No big deal." So ironically, I didn't have the key to get to the house. So I'm still calling Tom. I'm like on the way to my house, which is like literally like a 10-minute drive. And I'm like banging the back of the door and I'm like, Tom, wake up." And he's just dead. Like, I don't know if he still sleeps heavy like this, but he's just dead to the world. So, what do? Actually punches through the back window. I still have like the cut on my knuckle because I don't really know why I did that. Yeah, there's like 2 slices right here, and I just bust through the glass. I flip the lock and I open the door, and I mean I am on one. I'm like Rambo because you're not about to play with me. Like, do you? Don't play with me, white boy. You know what I mean? Like. I walk in and this man is like dead sleep. Like when I tell y'all, okay, and before I get to the next part, I do want to preface again, this is a figment of my imagination and it may not have really happened and it could have very well been a dream. But also I need y'all to know that he was sleeping. So he did not know who I was. So before I get to the next part, like don't judge him, don't start a riot, whatever. So while he's sleeping in bed, I walk up to him and I just go boom, and I hit him dead in his shit. His nose, I mean, I hit him so hard. Y'all, I, he he like tucks and rolls off the side of the bed because like he has no idea what just happened. Like he's laying in bed, he doesn't know anything that's going on. I doubt he even knew the girl tagged him. Like let's be honest. Like I don't even think he knew anything that I knew anything. So I hit him, he rolls off the bed, he grabs the gun out of the nightstand and pulls the gun on me because he doesn't know who I am. I was like, the gun didn't even bother me. That's how I know I'm just not right in the head because the gun did not bother me. I walk up to him and I'm like going off. I'm like, "Who the fuck is this Brittany girl? Like, how could you do this to me? Like, I'm at home with these kids all the time. I've supported you in your tattoo career and you take your ass over there and you're here with a whole other girl from the whole weekend." Then it comes to find out like some of the guys in the tattoo industry had like reached out to me and was like, "Hey, um, we know that he has kids and a family, and like we thought that was really disrespectful. He's walking around with this girl during the whole tattoo convention," and like they're all like, they're just like not about that because they were like married with families too, and they're reaching out and telling me about how disrespectful that was of him. And that's what's crazy because I don't even know if he knows that to this day. But like all of like the people he was with was like low key reaching out to me, like telling me that he was with her the whole weekend. Like didn't even stay in the hotel rooms with the rooms that he bought with his friends. Like he was with her the whole time. So anyways, So I'm like on one, I'm flipping the freak out. Like he's got the gun like pointed at me, and I walk up to him and I just hit his arm with the gun in it. And I'm like, motherfucker, if you're gonna pull it, shoot it. If you're gonna pull it, shoot it. And I was like, don't you ever point a gun at me? And like I could tell it, he was getting scared. Like he probably has never had a girl like turn up on him like this, and I still think he's probably scared of me to this day because he don't be bringing them girls around me. Like I think he knows like I'm the mama where I'm just not to be played with. Like cuz it takes a lot to get a reaction out of me, but I think he knows like there's a thin line that I'll just like flip a switch. But anyways, so I'm like, I hit the gun out of his hand and I'm like, and like I got my phone, I'm like, who the fuck is this? Like blah blah blah. And he's like, Ashley, calm down, calm down. Well, he ends up calling the cops on me. Touche. And while I'm screaming, he calls 911. He's like, hello. He's like, and this was what was so funny. He was like, my wife just broke into our house. And he was like, and I just need y'all to come get her. And the cop is like, what do you mean your wife just broke into your house? And he's like, yeah, my wife just broke in. And me and my ghetto tail, I'm yelling in the back and I'm like, hold on. Sorry, I need something to drink. But me and my ghetto tail, I'm yelling in the back and I'm like, tell him the fuck why. Tell him the fuck why. Tell him why I broke in the house. Tell him why I punched you in your shit. Tell him what you did. Like, what does that cop care about? Like a 21-year-old cheating. Like, I mean, let's be honest. Or 20, he might have been 22 at this time. But let's be honest. Like, but I cared. And I was like, tell him what you did. Like, I just remember like saying that over and over again. And then the cop being like, sir, there's nothing we can do about her like getting into her own house. That's not a breaking and entering. Do you want to file an assault charge, like domestic violence? Like, what do you want to do? And he basically was like, uh, just told one of us to leave. He's like, just in this situation, one of y'all just leave. If one of y'all don't leave, we'll send somebody out there. And so I was like, I'll leave. It's fine. At this point, I think I had built up so much anger and hate after seeing that girl and like talking about that she can't wait for him to show her the dirty South. Like, but you told that bitch you was gonna bring her over here? I wish you would. I wish you would have. I wish you would. Because you and her could have both, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so Brittany, if you're listening to this, if this ever gets across to San Diego with whatever you're doing, just know like I hate you still. Anyways, because you did know. Because we was on his Instagram. You did know. And then she was like, like her whole page was like 666, love the devil, Satan this, Satan worshiper. And I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? Coming from the background, like we'd be going to church with the kids, and you're like over here with the girl that's like 666, and like her picture's like upside down. Like her like username was like 666, like love devil type stuff. And I'm like, dude, like, but you could just tell maybe he was just young, dumb, the groupie tattoo groupie mentality, whatever. But so anyway, so I was like, no, I'll just leave. It's fine. I think y'all forgot, like I've already went through trauma where I left Jaden's dad like 8 months pregnant, so leaving a man is nothing for me. But at this point, I did have a 1 and 5-year-old. And I went home. I remember I cried about it. It was rough, but I went to these apartments the next day and I signed a lease. It was these income-based apartments, and I was like, okay, well, like I'm not going back. You want to play with me while like we just had a baby? Like, are you kidding me? Like we just celebrated our daughter's 1-year birthday. Okay. And so I signed a lease on an apartment. I don't even think we ever really had a conversation about that girl. Which is, now that I look back on it, it's like, wow, that probably isn't very mature, but that's how you could also know like us being married was like not even really us being married. Like it was like I mean, yeah, we were together for a long, long time, like 5, 6 years, but I just left. Like there was no like reconciliation. There was no talking about, hey, like what really happened. I just didn't even care. Like, don't play with me. So, like I said, I went and got my apartment, and while I was waiting on the apartment, I told him like I wanted him to stay at his parents' house. I pretty much just stayed at the house with the kids until the apartment was ready. Because, you have like a certain move-in date. And I moved everything out of the house. I moved it into the apartment. I pretty much left him with a bed with no mattress, um, no TVs, no nothing. I cleared the house. Like there was nothing in the house. And I kind of feel, no, I don't feel bad about it at all because he deserved it. But it was crazy. Like when he came back to live in that house, like he didn't even have a mattress to sleep on. I'm sure he was like, bitch. Like all I could think about is the scene from Norbit where like Eddie Murphy's like in the basement. He's like I feel like that's probably what Tom was doing whenever he came in the house. So, you know, um, I still feel like I didn't get my get back for him. And that was very childish of me. I didn't feel like I got to really make him suffer anything because I just left so quickly. But turns out me leaving quickly was what really did make him suffer because me, I don't circle back. I don't get back together. I don't circle back. I don't like there's no flings. Like once we're split, we're split. Like you can't like this you're done. Like it's a dead end road. No coming back. But he constantly tried to like reach back out, get back with me. And even if I didn't have a boyfriend, I was still like, I'm with somebody. No thanks. But it was nice to like see him like try to come back, but I still feel like I didn't get like a good get back. Like how with Jorge, like his car was on flats, windshield, like all that beat up the girl. I didn't get to do that with Tom until one day. Um this was a figment of my imagination and I could have dreamed it. But one day I went to his parents' house because that's where he was staying at the time. He didn't sign like another lease for an apartment or anything because he was about to move to Charlotte. And I went to his parents' house. He was down there with our daughter and went to the bathroom. I saw his toothbrush. Well, tell me why, y'all. I had it had to be the devil. I mean, that's all I can think about. It just had to be the devil that came over me because I just had this great feeling of God. I'm so embarrassed because the people who know that I did this, like I know y'all are over there like Ashley, like I can't believe you're about to admit this, that I dreamed about this. But I took his toothbrush and I put it in my bum hole and I scrubbed my bum hole with it. And I don't know what was wrong with me. I think so. Like something's clinically wrong with me, and to know, oh my god, I forgot to tell y'all. Like I've been off my meds for like 2 weeks now, so woohoo, we are off our meds. But saying this out loud makes me feel like I probably need to be back on my meds. But anyways, so I put his toothbrush in my butthole, and I like scrubbed all like around and like all my butt crack and stuff, and then I scrubbed the toilet with it, and then I put it back in the toothbrush holder. Yep. In my dream, I did that as a figment of my imagination. And I put that damn toothbrush back in the toothbrush holder. And every girl that he was talking to or he kissed after me was basically licking my butthole. And the reason how I know that he kept that toothbrush for a while is because I always dropped our daughter off at the house and I would purposely be like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. And I would look and that same, he's a man, he doesn't change his toothbrush. So the toothbrush was in there for like months. Like even if you moved to Charlotte and still kept that toothbrush, months. And I literally stuck it in my bum hole and scrubbed the toilet. Like that sounds freaking delusional. That same day, I also went to his room and I like poured like some like bleach on his clothes and like put his clothes like he had a clean laundry pad and I like poured bleach on it and I just like left it and didn't tell him. And then he was playing PlayStation or Xbox, I can't remember. And I saw all his games stacked up and I went through all of them and I just snapped them in half and put them neatly back in the box and snapped them. So every time he went to go play a game, they were all snapped and broken. I was just on one. But after that, I didn't do anything. Like, I mean, Scout's honor. I didn't do anything else to him other than, you know, like the stuff with the toothbrush and everything. Like after that, he like moved to Charlotte, and I mean, I just left him alone. It was what it was. But yeah, so that was my crash out with him, and I just really saying that out loud, like I really hope y'all don't judge me, because honestly, like, can you get like E. coli from that? I mean, could that have killed him? Well, E. coli, I don't know where that comes from. I wish I could look that up right now. But yeah, so if you're listening to this and you had been with Tom after we split, if it was within a year, and you're connected in ways that you probably didn't know, hearts to you. But yeah, so that was this chapter of Tom and Avery's dad, the white boy on my Rasta. That was like the last white boy, because he definitely scarred me from them, because I was like, well, dang, like they ain't no better. Like even though you were on the opposite end of the spectrum, I'm like, what? So next we're going to talk about my years of single before I got to another relationship. And on the next episode, we're going to talk about how there was a guy that I had met during my single years, and the kid like literally used to get dressed and like full like slacks and button down polos and pretend he was going to work for months. And this whole time I thought he had a job, because like you're getting dressed for work. Like I see you saying you got to go to work and stuff, and then you ended up not even having a job. Like, well, we're going to talk about how we found a bum. Of course, we're not going to mention any names, but yeah, we're going to talk about how we got bamboozled on the next episode. And yeah, thanks guys for listening. I'm so sorry for this one being late. Don't judge me for things I do with toothbrushes. I don't do those things anymore. I am no longer a crash out. Tom was my last. Well, I lied. The guy that bamboozled me, that got pretending to get dressed every day for work, I lied. I actually had a crash out on him too, but no toothbrushes in the buttholes. But anyways, thanks for listening. Stay tuned for episode 5. Of course, if you have any questions, want any clarity, if you want to talk about all my favorite shows, things like that I've done in my past, if you want to vent, if you want to talk about your kids' baby daddies, don't make a status about it. Write me on Instagram and you can vent to me. Okay, love you guys. Bye.